And we're back. Welcome to another episode of the HigherUp podcast. I'm your host, Michael Smoke, and it's been a little while. I apologize. I've been busy setting up, where I am right now, what you can see. You're actually in my living room as opposed to the conventional room you're used to seeing with the big brown table. I'm building something similar to that upstairs, but right now that is an empty room filled with moving boxes, and it's very echoey. As I hope this is not. I have kind of high ceilings. I'm in a new apartment, I should say, before I keep fucking talking. I moved to a new place. I'm absolutely in love with it. It is wonderful, freshly renovated in a great location. I've got the ice bath set up on my patio. I'm putting a sauna upstairs. I'm finally able to build a space with the vision of what I want it to be to maximize my productivity and my life. And it's finally a space that I'm proud of, which was a big deal to me for a lot of reasons. I've never really lived in a place where I was proud to host or have people or share and bear as my own. And can y'all see me okay? I'm looking at the computer right now. Feel weird. The camera's much higher than me. And I bought this couch, shout out Restoration Hardware, and it's so deep. And I feel weird having a formal podcast conversation this deep in a couch. So I'm going to sit up. But anyway, I'm very proud of the space. It's coming together nicely. And I'm excited for what's going to come out of this, the creativity it's going to provide, the motivation, of having an apartment like this just really fires me up. I've got tons of natural light, which was a huge criteria for me. As you can see, this is none of my podcast lighting. This is just a living room. And I'm excited to be back. I'm hoping to provide a ton of value in this episode. The goal is to answer 15 follower submitted questions as effectively and efficiently as I possibly can. You guys are submitted on my Instagram just a couple of hours ago, and this gives me the opportunity to address the stuff that you guys most want answered from me. And rather than just come up with a topic that I think you want to hear, why not you tell me what you want to hear and I build an episode around it? So we've got 15 questions here. All of them cover the basis of what a lot of you are asking me. There's a lot of different versions of the same question in this poll submission, and I'm just going to dive right into it. Also, before I get started, I just appreciate y'all's patience. I know it's been 2 weeks since I put out an episode. The move has been really chaotic, getting everything settled, and I've just been in sort of a state of mental disarray for that reason and a lot of reasons. It's put me in a bit of a creative block. But now that I have a place to come to that is mine and only mine, it has really sparked conviction and creativity for me again, and it feels good. I'm feeling more like myself, and I'm ready to ride this momentum into creating a lot of stuff for you guys while I have the spark. And it comes and goes for everybody. So for those of you out there that struggle with motivation to get fit or go to the gym or build the business or go to work or be a parent, it's always fleeting. And I think it's really important to show up even when you don't want to in all facets of life. I'm still putting out videos, as you can see, but they haven't really felt like anything I was inspired to say. But sometimes it's about solidifying the habit. Just like I say, a 10-minute workout's better than no workout, because sometimes it's just about getting up and going to the gym that's important rather than what you do when you're there. I view my business the same way. If I'm not convicted or inspired, I still try to do something to move the needle every day. And that's how I live my life. And it's sort of the 1% rule embodied. And it's put me in a beautiful position financially to afford a wonderful home like this. It's put me in a good position with myself, physically and emotionally, and with others. So just try to get 1% better every day. Now I'm going to get off my soapbox and open up with a question that sparked a lot of controversy because I posted about it the other day. And Sophiopath, play on the word sociopath, that's troubling. How to go to maintenance after goal weight. Basically what she's asking is, do I need to reverse diet? How do I do that? I thought about cracking out the whiteboard for you guys, but I'm just going to try my best to explain this. I'm going to use myself as an example. So there's a couple things you need to know when you're on a weight loss. I know, I'm sorry, I keep looking off to the right. I'm just making sure my mic and everything's set up. My whole audio and video setup is over here to the right. Anyway, when you go into a calorie deficit and you lose body weight, there are a couple things you need to know. Number one, you are going to get lighter. You are going to get leaner, and that will require less energy to move you through space and time. So when people say metabolic adaptation is not real, they're wrong. But when people say metabolic adaptation is real, they're also kind of wrong. Mainly because they overhype the impact that metabolic adaptation has on our bodies. So you can roughly estimate that for every 20 pounds-ish of body fat you lose, your basal metabolic rate, meaning the metabolic rate it takes to keep you alive, might drop by 6 to 10%. Now, there's a distinction you need to understand. There is BMR, and I see a lot of people ask me, like, how do I find my BMR? You don't want to find your BMR. You want to find your TDEE. BMR, or basal metabolic rate, is the amount of calories it takes to keep you alive. All of your organ systems burn calories. Your brain burns about 20% of the calories you burn every day. Basically, if I were to lay here all day and do absolutely nothing and be in a coma, then my BMR would be the amount of calories needed to keep me alive throughout that 24-hour period. My total daily energy expenditure is that number, my BMR, plus everything else. My walking, my steps, my fidgeting, my exercise, my digestion, that burns calories. Everything burns calories. Me moving my arm up and down like this burns calories. So understanding that your total daily energy expenditure and BMR will go down a little bit as you get lighter is important to note. But it's not until you've lost a pretty substantial amount of weight. And you can counteract that simply by moving more. I like to add steps throughout my cut rather than reduce food. So here's the example. I started this weight loss journey 8 years ago. I was like 235 pounds. I got all the way down to 170. When I was 235, if I were to lift, and I wasn't, but just for sake of example, when I was 235 pounds, if I were to lift, hit 10 to 15,000 steps in a day, eat 200 grams of protein, be active, I would burn more calories at 235 doing all those things than I did at 170. Why? Because I was 50 pounds heavier. Everything moving my body required more energy. So that means if I get down to 170, the amount of calories needed to keep me at 170 is probably a little lower than the calories needed to keep me at 235. Now, of course, like I said, you can counteract all that with more steps. I was cranking like 20,000 steps a day and training really hard. You can counteract with those things. But if this lady, sociopath, I don't like saying that name out loud, lost, let's say 100 pounds, her calorie maintenance is going to be less. And there's this belief that you need to reverse diet. Okay, well, you're at 1,800 calories right now and you're at your goal weight. Great. So next week we'll do 1,900 and then 2,000 and then 2,100 week over week over week. No, that's a fucking waste of time. Now, some people make the argument if you're a bodybuilder or you were starving to death, yeah, then maybe you can make an argument that there's a place for reverse dieting, sheerly to allow your body to handle an increase in volume of food so it doesn't upset your stomach. Some people argue, well, it's a mental thing. People are scared to eat more. I challenge you to say, get the fuck over that and figure out what is the root cause that is creating this mental anguish for you around food, an inanimate object that you, a sentient being, can't seem to get a hold on. And I say that as a guy who's been there. I had a full-blown eating disorder. So I can say that because you can get over it, because I fucking did. I believe you should just go back to maintenance. Now, it's not the same maintenance. So what you should do is plug your new bodily metrics into the tdeecalculator.net. Go to that website, punch in your new metrics. It'll give you a new maintenance and just eat that much. You don't have to gradually work your way up. You're just wasting time spinning your wheels. Just go back up to a maintenance, and you find that new maintenance roughly through using the calculator at your new body weight and then eating that much and seeing what your body weight does. Now, disclaimer, you will jump up in weight a couple of pounds. That's fine. That's normal. That is just your body taking on an increase in food, which has weight, an increase in glycogen or stored carbohydrates, and a little bit of water. Because every gram of carbs we eat holds 3 grams of water. So you will weigh a little bit more. You are not gaining fat. You will actually feel better, and look fuller because you'll have water and carbs in your muscles. And that is how you go to maintenance after you reach your goal weight. Thanks for the submission, Sophie. Maui Cardenas asks, what are some tips you have on being a hybrid athlete? Okay, first off, I don't use the term hybrid athlete because I think it's cringe. I am just a dude who lifts weights and runs, but also makes videos on the internet. It's a fucking stretch to call me an athlete by any means. Oh, I'm a hybrid athlete. Like, bro, you run 5Ks and lift 3 times a week. Fucking chill out. I just think it's a goofy term that we have to like put a name on. I'm healthy and exercise. Anyway, I'm going to stop hating. Tips on becoming a hybrid athlete. It's tough. I'm going to lump this into a bunch of different forms of the same question, which is how do I manage weightlifting and running? How do I become a hybrid athlete? Blah, 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 blah. How do I balance the two? How do I keep myself from losing muscle? Running and lifting are counterintuitive stimuli. Running tells the body, get leaner, get lighter, taper down muscle, taper down fat. This person needs to move through space. It doesn't know we're running. It thinks we're trying to avoid a cheetah in early human history. Lifting tells the body we need to get stronger, we need to get bigger. This guy or gal needs to push something away from them. Let's make the muscles bigger and stronger. You got to remember that. So if you do too much of one without enough of the other, the body will take on that look. And that's why marathoners look like shit. Uh, Sorry, that was rude. That's why most marathoners don't have a lot of muscle tissue. Now, you can do both, but it is hard, especially if you're natural. You can be the jack of all trades and the master of none. If bodybuilding is your goal, running is probably not conducive to that goal. And if you want to run marathons and be jacked, you should probably pick one. Now, you can do a little bit of both. I would be more jacked if I did not do all the endurance stuff that I do. I will also say I spent a lot of years building my foundation of muscle tissue, which once you have it is a lot easier to maintain than building it while running. I built a lot of muscle and then started running. Nick Bear is so jacked because he built a ton of muscle and then started running. But he lost fucking 55 pounds since he started running Ironmans and marathons. So it's hard to do both, especially if you're a beginner. It can be done, but it will be a slower process, and you will need to prioritize recovery, nutrition, and training, strength training specifically. So my tips for you: keep your protein high, 1 gram per pound of body weight minimum. Cover your bases, make sure you're getting enough, and that's just an easy way to do it, is eat a little bit more than you need. Oh, but Michael, the research says 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilo. I don't give a fuck. Those research subjects aren't running, and they're not trying to get huge. Just cover your bases, let the protein be an insurance policy. 1 gram per pound, 190 pounds. If you're 190 pounds like I am, eat 190 grams. That simple. The next thing is prioritizing nutrition in general, eating enough carbs to support performance, eating enough fat to support hormone production, which endurance training can absolutely impact, especially if you're a gal. They did a research study where they found that men who ran over 30 kilometers a week had up to a 40% reduction in testosterone. So eating enough dietary fat to support hormone production, male and female, is important. Getting enough micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, eating nutrient-dense foods, considering supplementation with a multivitamin is also helpful. I use Optimized Minerals and Echo's multivitamin, EchoVisions, code HU. That's all very important at a cellular level to allow your body to synthesize the things it needs to keep you healthy and performing. The next piece is strength training. If you're in the gym, I wouldn't do a ton of volume because that's going to impact your ability to recover. I would do a lower volume, higher intensity approach focused on pushing in close proximity to failure while gaining strength. If you're continuously gaining strength and pushing closer to failure, your body is going to think the muscle has a reason to stay or grow. So provide the stimulus in the gym, and then you are going to be able to maintain or build muscle while running. It might be slower, it might be harder, but that's the nature of the route that you chose to take to be a hybrid athlete. Those are the main tips. And then sleep. Sleep is huge for lean mass retention and recovery in general. And so I implore you to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep minimum if you're going to be a hybrid athlete. Spitty, my boy Fitty with Spitty, y'all go follow him on Instagram, asks, why focus on quality sleep, deep versus REM, and what are the benefits? So it's very important. I posted a lot recently about my Whoop tracker here I've had for 3 years. I love it. It's been tattooed to me since 2022. The importance of getting quality sleep. So there have been a few days I've only gotten like 6.5 hours of sleep, but over half of that has been REM and deep, which is restorative sleep. I do that through training hard, minimizing light exposure, taking certain supplements, sleeping in a cold room, all things that make sleep easier. But the importance of it is huge. Light sleep is only the facilitator. We have 3 stages: light, REM, and deep, and awake, I guess 4. The importance of light sleep is to facilitate the stage and set the stage for deep and REM sleep. So deep sleep is where muscle tissue repair happens. When you break your body down from the workout, you eat, and then you go to bed, the body repairs tissue turnover or begins tissue turnover and amino acid restructuring and rebuilding in deep sleep. So from a physiological standpoint, if you want to recover and get stronger, get faster, you need to sleep well. REM sleep is a lot of where a lot of the cognitive restoration processes take place. When we're in REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, literally if you watch somebody in REM sleep sleeping, their eyes dart back and forth. It's kind of fucking freaky. That's where we dream, but that's also where our memory consolidation and events from the day are filed away into our brain. It's where the brain clears out beta amyloid plaque, the thing that we accumulate every day that is abundant in Alzheimer's patients, for example. It's not causation, but it is correlation. Dr. Matthew Walker actually talks about wakefulness in terms of a strict objective scientific measurement. Being awake throughout the day is a form of low-level brain damage. So we need to go to bed to restore our brain and cognitive function. There have been multiple studies on reaction time, memory, processing speed on sleep-deprived subjects versus well-rested subjects, as well as force output in the gym, and it's been a notable impact on physical and mental performance. The study that stands out to me, also cited in Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, incredible read, is that on average, they found sleep-deprived people were 30% weaker in the gym, meaning they took subjects that could do 10 reps in the gym of a certain weight, had them sleep 5 hours one night, and on average, they could only do 7 reps the next day. All other conditions held the same. Pretty crazy. So sleep is important for those reasons. You need to prioritize it, and our generation is absolutely cooked on that, and it's a problem. Hope that answers your question, Spit. Hope you're doing well, brother. Britt Brownlee asks, how do you calculate / know what your calorie deficit should be? This is a great question and one I've gotten a lot. I think a lot of people are getting hip to the fact that it doesn't necessarily matter per se. Oh, I'm eating clean. Oh, I'm exercising so much. Why can't I lose fat? That stuff's all great. But a lot of people are getting hip to the fact that it really is calories in, calories out. And so this is a great question for the beginners on how to calculate that. It's very simple. I alluded to it earlier. Go to TDEE, yes, the letters, total daily energy expenditure.net. Put in your metrics. It'll ask you your body fat percentage. This one stumps people. If you do not know your body fat percentage, look up body fat percentage graph, men or women. It'll show you visual representations of what the various body fat percentages look like. Take your best guess, doesn't have to be exact. It'll also ask your activity level. You're probably moderately active. If you walk 9 to 11,000 steps a day, 10 to 12,000 maybe, you lift 2-4 times a week, you're moderately active. That'll give you a calorie maintenance number. It'll boop, spit it out. Generally, I find they're pretty accurate. I use it for all my coaching clients, within 10%. You can then subtract 300 to 500 calories from that number. So for me, I know for a fact when I put in my metrics, it gives me a calorie maintenance of about 3,200. That's pretty close to right. With the exception of a few very high activity days, on average, over the course of weeks and months, it's 3,200. So for me, anything under that would be a calorie deficit. If it was 10 calories under, I'd lose a little bit of weight every day. So what I do is I subtract 300 to 500 calories from that number. Generally, the goal or the frame of reference for, I'm going to lean back here, I'm getting tired, for a moderate calorie deficit that equates to about 1 pound a week of weight loss is going to be 500 calories daily, and that is going to equal 3,500 calories weekly of weight loss. So 5 times 7 is 35, and there's roughly 1 pound of body fat, there's roughly 3,500 calories in 1 pound of stored body fat, roughly, directionally. So you can assume at roughly a 500 calorie daily deficit over 7 days, you'll lose about a pound a week, which is a great rate of weight loss. Anything under that can be tough to maintain. If you can do it, great. I encourage that. Keep your protein high and train hard. But oftentimes you'll find yourself hungrier and generally more uncomfortable if you do that. So that is how you find your calorie deficit, plain and simple. Protein intake, eat 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of current body weight. If you have more than 50 or 60 pounds to lose, then eat 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. And then carbs and fats how you like and how you please. And eat mostly whole natural foods that grew in the ground, grow on a tree, or had a mom and dad. Hope that answers your question, Britt. NaomiKey.fit asks, having a major in sales, what is your advice on finding someone's why when selling? Great question and not fitness related. I like answering non-fitness questions. So for those of you who don't know, my bachelor's degree, my BBA is from Kennesaw State, and it is a degree in professional sales and is the best decision I ever made. It taught me psychology. It taught me people. It taught me public speaking. It taught me sales, which everything in life is sales. And then I took 2 years of sales training outside of that with Sandler Selling Systems, and I was in sales for 3.5 years. So I've got 6 years of sales experience under my belt, both academic and practical. And this is an important question because in all things that we do, all exchanges, transactions of goods, services, or value, you need to know the why people buy. And it's not just the exchange of a product or good. Making friends, being in a romantic relationship. Why do you want to be in this? Why do you want to do this thing? Why do you want to make this change? Everything comes back to a why. But specifically for the goal of sales, if there is no why, or there is no, as they say in Sandler, no pain, no sale. Selling and making a change or decision is a pain-based thing. You're in a current state, you want to be in a new state. But change is painful. So in order for change to make sense, the pain of staying the same has to outweigh the pain of change. Because change is uncomfortable, it's scary, it's uncertain, and that is painful to a degree. So when you're in a sales conversation with a prospect, whether you're selling coaching, which you probably are, Naomi, like I am, or you're in corporate sales, you need to understand the pain points of the prospect and you need to sell to those pain points. You need to show that you've got a problem and I've got the thing that can solve the problem and nothing else matters. It's like a great analogy my professor, Dr. Lowe at Kennesaw State, used to say was, don't sell the drill, sell the hole. I'm not selling the product. I'm selling what the product can do for you. So he would say, like, if you're going to Home Depot and you need a 3/8-inch hole drilled in the wall, and the Home Depot rep starts saying, oh, this drill is a DeWalt battery powered fucking bright orange, 62 drill bits. It's supercharged. It's got an LED light. You're like, I don't give a fuck. Can it drill a 3/8-inch hole? No, then I don't need it. That's simple. And so in order to get to the why, to get to the pain, you have to ask the right questions. You have to ask what they'll call in like sales academia challenge questions or challenging probes. In the spin selling cycle, it's problem questions. They sound something like, what kind of challenges are you facing right now? If you're in a fitness coaching conversation, it's like, what are your biggest obstacles right now that keep you from where you want to be? And now let's backpedal a little bit. You need to ask them where they want to be. What is their current state? So, John, what are your goals right now? What are you trying to do with your fitness and health? Well, Michael, I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, great. Tell me more about that. Well, I want to get healthy for my kids. I want to show up for them. I don't want to be the fat dad. I want to be able to keep up. And I'm just frustrated, man. I hate the way I look next to my beautiful wife. I'm just making all this up. I don't know a John who's fat. I mean, I probably do, but whatever. And he'll just start giving you stuff. You ask lots of open-ended questions. What are you trying to achieve? How are you trying to do it? And then now I know he's got pain, right? He doesn't like the way he feels with his shirt off. He wants to look good next to his wife. He wants to be healthy for a long time for his kids. He doesn't want to be the fat dad. He'll start laying it on you. Generally in a sales conversation, it's an 80-20 split. Prospect talks 80%, you talk 20. Your 20 is mostly questions. And you ask these challenge probes and you don't ever be afraid to press on the pain. So, give you an example. What challenges are you facing, John? I'm just tired of being the fat dad. I want to be around for my kids for a long time. Okay, let's start with those two things. Tell me more about that. I'm sick of being the guy that can't keep up with his kids and play with them in the front yard. Understood. John, what would happen if you did have a health scare? What would that do to you? What would that do to the kids, to the wife? How would that make them feel? That's the why. What we call third level pain or pressing on the pain is you pick one of those pain points and you dig deeper on it. You told me you don't want to be the fat dad. You told me you want to be healthy. I'm going to pull those two together. I'm going to go, what would the impact be? We call that an impact probe in customer-centered selling or a impact question in spin selling. In Sandler, they call it a third level pain question. Sandler Selling Systems, great training. So what would happen if? What would the impact be if you didn't solve these challenges? That is the why right there. You've got them. If you can get to that, in business conversations, you say like, what's really keeping you up at night? Is this putting a strain on your marriage, on your personal life? Are you sleeping? If you can get to that and press on that and then show you can solve for that, you got them. Hook, line, and sinker. Because remember, this is a Sandler selling rule as well. Buyers make purchasing decisions emotionally and then come back and justify that purchase intellectually. So if you can get them to make an emotional decision, and I don't mean make the wrong decision, but like act on their emotion that they want alleviated and show like, I can give you that pain relief. I am the pain reliever. I'm the doctor. I've got the prescription for your ailment. That is how you get them to buy, but you have to ask the right questions and you have to really care. Don't be some fucking sociopathic narcissist who just wants to sell them something. Don't be afraid to tell them it's not a fit. I've turned away hundreds of people from my coaching that I'm like, you don't need this, man. You need to get your shit together. But you need to be empathetic. You need to be an active listener. You need to show them you're engaged by saying what they're saying back to them after they say it to you. Body language, all that stuff. We'll get into that in another episode about communication, public speaking skills. But you need to show that you care. You need to show them you understand what they're trying to achieve. You need to show them that you understand why they can't get there. And then show them only, nothing more, of the parts of your services that alleviate that pain. Because if I start telling you how great my fitness coaching is, but the whole thing you came to me for was financial coaching, I don't do financial coaching. It's just an example. You're not going to give a fuck about my fitness coaching. I'm not showing you the right pain relief. I need to show you how I've helped other people get wealthy or get out of debt or whatever. So that is how you get to the why. That was a bit of a wordy answer. I hope that helps. Are we recording? If we're not recording right now, I'm going to throw up. Okay, we are. Good question, Naomi. Dominique N. Lay asks, on your weight loss journey, Did you ever hit a plateau? If yes, how did you get out of it? Yes, I did. And everybody does, because weight loss and fat loss specifically is not linear. Fat loss, it looks like this over time. For those of you not watching, just listening, I'm doing a downward graph with my hands. But over time, over days and weeks, it'll go up and down and up and down and up and down. That happens for a lot of reasons. First question to ask yourself, am I really in a plateau? If your weight has been stalled for more than 2.5 weeks, you're probably in a plateau. There's a couple things you can do. Maybe you've lost a substantial amount of weight. Congratulations. Time to reduce the calories a little bit. Like I said earlier, it's not necessarily just that your BMR slows down. And I should have said this earlier. Fuck, I'm glad I'm saying it now. It's that as you get lighter and as you're in a calorie deficit for a longer period of time, your body doesn't know you're trying to lose weight. It thinks you're just starving a little bit every day. And so it will taper down certain things that you might have done before to try to compensate for that. So for example, I'm sitting here, I'm fidgeting, I'm tapping my feet, I'm slapping my hands on my legs. They have found that movement, those types of fidgets and stuff, that is called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, can burn up to an additional 1,000 calories per day in some people. That's crazy. A lot of naturally skinny people, they're like, oh, I eat so much, I just can't gain weight. They actually just fidget a lot and move a lot and are unintentionally active. Me waving my hand or tapping my foot or slapping my hand on my leg for, over the course of a 12-hour day could be 300 or 400 calories. Your body will start to make you do less of that. Like, you will just sit more still, especially if you're shredded, like getting ready for bodybuilding prep. People talk about how they have to intentionally get up and go walk. It will make you want to walk less being in a calorie deficit. Your body's trying to conserve energy. So you need to cognizantly fight against that through movement and activity or reducing food a little bit. So what I do when I hit a plateau, let's say I start my cut at 2,700 calories, I lose 15 pounds, and all of a sudden I'm kind of stagnant. I'll only drop calories a little bit, maybe to like 2,550, but I'll up my activity level. So that's two things you can do. You can cut food, you can increase activity, or you can do a little bit of both or a lot of one or the other. I'm a former fat boy. I prefer to always increase activity over cut food. I like to be able to eat a lot. So those are the two things you can do. But first, ask yourself, am I really in a plateau? And sometimes it's just about staying the course. If your weight stalls for a week, that might happen. Stay patient. The whoosh effect, as I call it, will kick in. And all of a sudden, you'll find the scale is moving again. Last thing you can do is just take a little diet break. Mentally and physically, it's great for you. Take a week at maintenance calories, 7 full days maintenance. Give your mind a break from the diet and give your body a break from that little mini cortisol hit. I want to specify cortisol is not making you fat, but cortisol does elevate when you're in a calorie deficit for multiple weeks. So giving your body that break from being a little bit stressed out can oftentimes help you to shed some water, in which case that scale might drop down a couple of pounds again and then get back into your deficit. And that's how you break through a plateau. Yowzer60 asks, big back, I would have appreciated a question mark. It just says, big back hunger management strategies. But brother, I can relate to that. I'm starving right now, and it's, 11:13? I haven't eaten yet. Fuck. Protein, fiber, food volume, fat. Those 4 things. Protein, the more protein, the better. It's not bad for you. I'm eating as much as 250 grams a day to keep me satiated right now because protein is the most satiating macronutrient. Fiber slows digestion. Food takes up space in our stomach, swells when we take on water, so it can make us feel fuller by activating the stretch receptors in our stomach. So protein and fiber together, bomb for satiety. Dietary fat slows digestion. That's why I think low-fat diets are stupid. Fatty foods are very satiating. And so eating a ton of those can be really great because they'll slow digestive rate because they are more energy dense. And so food will stay in your system for longer if you can do that. And food volume, like eating foods you can eat a lot of, like watermelon, fruits, vegetables. I can eat a salad the size of my fucking head with 12 ounces of protein and a little bit of dressing for, 350 calories. But it's a ton of food volume. It takes up space in my stomach. When I'm deep in a cut, I used to measure food in like bites. This might sound crazy, but like if I take a chicken and rice bowl, I might get 100 bites out of it. But I take a chicken and rice bowl and I put a cup and a half of lettuce in it, I now get 200 bites because I've increased the volume of that meal. So I look at meals in bites, and maximizing bites helps make diets more enjoyable. Abby Taylor Fit. It's an interesting question. What achievement in life are you most proud of? I don't know why I picked this question. It feels selfish. I have a hard time feeling a lot of pride in myself, honestly. Like I've had to really push myself to feel intentional gratitude. And that's not something I'm proud of. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm just a grinder. It's always on to the next thing. It's always what's next. I got to build something bigger, something better. And I've had a really hard time just sitting back and looking at what I've built. When I'm in the coaching community with my clients and we're on calls, like they're starting their own book clubs inside of the community. They've got their own WhatsApp chat for accountability. They're calling each other to wake up early. They're losing 20, 30 pounds. They're getting promoted. They're asking for raises. They're sliding in DMs of people that they never would have talked to because they have more confidence. Like, I'm proud of that. Whoa, wasn't expecting to get a little bit emotional. That's interesting. Um, I built this platform with over 2 million people that tune in to watch my dumbass say something. I'm able to afford this beautiful apartment with a gorgeous patio and one of the best views in the city. And like, it's a little more house than I need. And it's nice. And, I did this. I've done this. Huh. Sorry. Maybe there was a reason I picked this question. I've got people who love me all around me and they want me to win and they don't want anything from me. They just want me to win. They don't want to ride my coattails of whatever the fuck it is that I've done here on the internet. They want me to be okay, whether this was a part of the equation or not. You guys listen to me talk for 30, 40 minutes at a time. Like, that's crazy. I'm sitting here in a room alone and thousands of you are going to listen to this. Like, I'm proud. And man, this is hard for me. I'm getting emotional. Like, I have a hard time being proud of myself. And I don't know what caused that. I struggle with this line between being proud of myself and being arrogant, and sitting in the tension of what I know is true, which is that I have done something cool. I've done a lot of cool things. I'm proud of the fact that I've run a sub 4-hour marathon. I'm proud of the ultra marathon I ran. I'm proud that I ran a fucking 5-minute, 8-second mile, and I was part of a Guinness World Record last year. That's incredible. I'm proud of this business that I've built, of the impact I've had on people. I'm proud of the friendships and relationships that I've built with people. And I don't ever let myself say it out loud. This is the first time I've done all of that now and given myself the space to do it. Because I'm almost like scared to come across as arrogant if I feel pride in what I do. And that's something I've been working on, actually, deliberately with somebody who I work with myself, is riding the line between pride and what is true about yourself, and arrogance and ego, and battling with all that. And there's been a lot of people in my life for a long time, including myself. Ultimately, everything in life that happens to you is your fault. I believe that. It helped me get my shit together. And like, I let people be around me, and I let myself make me feel small, make my achievements feel small and less than. And I'm intolerant to that now. I don't want to be around people who can't tell others and themselves like, hey, you did something really cool. Like, I will gas up somebody at any given opportunity because I know how shitty it feels to be proud of yourself for something and someone shit all over that. And those type of people, fuck those people. You don't need them in your life. I know a lot of you are entertaining relationships romantically, friendship-wise, familial, that don't serve you, and you keep them around because it's comfortable and familiar, and they make you feel small, and they jab you when you try to talk about your achievements. It is cool to be proud of what you talk about. In the community, we share wins on the calls every week, and it's to do nothing else other than give people the space to say, I did that. Like, I'm him, I'm her. Like, everybody needs that a little bit, and I struggle with it more than most, and I shouldn't, because I've done some really cool shit, and I've built a really cool thing, and I'm fucking proud of it. And this is my first time admitting it out loud, especially to other people right now. And I think, wow, this has been oddly therapeutic. I think I'm done doing that. I think I'm done acting like I can't be proud of what I've built here because it's rare and I'm blessed and God has given me an opportunity to build something. He is enabling this. This isn't me. And what a disservice to myself and him and those around me to not embrace how great it is, because that will only enable me and free me to create something even better out of it and embrace the greatness of what it could be. So I am the most proud of what I've built and who I am. And every little achievement along the way, the fitness stuff, the world record, the marathon, the High Rocks coming up next weekend in Atlanta, the social media, the business, it's all just a part of the bigger story, which is I'm proud of who I am and proud of what I'm becoming. And I'm going to try to get better every day. And that's what I'm most proud of. Thanks for asking me that. That was oddly healing in a way. Let's see what else we have. Oh, man. I've got a lot of questions left. Shit. Leah Christan, sorry, I fucked that up. What has been your greatest asset to acquiring the knowledge that you have today? Podcasts and YouTube. That's it. I'm going to keep that one short and simple. There's free seminars and knowledge and information from PhDs on here, a whole lot smarter than me on here, on the internet, I mean. And they just give out all their information and knowledge. Sorry to readjust on camera. It's not very ladylike of me. To give away their knowledge for free. Andrew Huberman, Peter Attia, Andy Galpin, Lane Norton, Thomas DeLauer, the Mind Pump guys. Shout out Mind Pump, Sal, Adam, and Justin. Appreciate what y'all do. You were huge in the foundation of my fitness. One of the best podcasts ever for fitness knowledge. Just it's everywhere. It's out there. You want to know about a specific concept? Type it into your search bar. You'll have the answer. Tirao Mia. What to do when you're in a season of being still and stuck? This is just my personal opinion. A lot of the pain I believe we experience in those seasons of feeling still or stuck is the resistance to being still or stuck. The resistance between you trying to pull away from that season and that season pulling you back in, that friction is like sandpaper on your skin. Creates pain, creates discomfort. Instead of sitting in the tension of it, sit in the tension of what you know to be true about you, about your season. And when you sit in the tension of it and be still with it and be quiet with it, odds are it's there for a reason and it's trying to teach you something. That's what I've found. My most painful times of my life right now is a little bit painful in some ways I don't need to get into, but I'm in a weird state mentally right now. Even being in this new place, I'm proud of it. But like, I've had some anxieties lately. I've had some things come up. And instead of trying to fight them or be distracted from them, I just notice them and I sit with them in quiet and silence and stillness and solitude. And I sit in the tension. The more places in your life where you can sit in the tension of what is, the more you can learn. Truly. It's uncomfortable in the now, but it's like the old homage to hard now, easy later, or hard or easy now, hard later. That's it. You can either suffer a little bit now and have an ultimately easier life, or you can have an easier life now and suffer later. It's your choice. But stop resisting the fact that you're stuck and just be in it. Listen to it. What is it trying to teach you? Maybe you're one meditation session away from divine inspiration and a breakthrough that gets you out of that stillness and stuckness. So I hope that helps. It helped me. Big Mike asks, how do you handle self-doubt in terms of the gym? Evidence, bro. It's all evidence-based. That's all it really is understanding and knowing that you don't have enough proof to lean on when it comes to being in the gym. I'm comfortable in the gym because I've been going for years. You're probably comfortable in your job because you're well-versed in what it is that you do. And so you don't lack confidence, you lack evidence. That's why I say all the time, you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt. That's from Alex Hormozy. You don't lack confidence, you lack evidence. So you need to get in there, you need to start stacking proof. It's going to be uncomfortable, you're going to suck, and then you're going to get good at it, and everyone's going to wonder how you got good at it. It's because you sucked at it at first. So in all things in life, just create evidence. Okay, this is two questions I'm going to lump together. Mateo Resendez and Riley Stetler both asked about weight gain. Mateo said, Tips or advice to gain healthy weight coming from a skinny guy who can't gain weight. And then Riley said, can you explain how to bulk properly? Will a dirty bulk ruin progress? Healthy weight, muscle tissue with minimized fat gain. As a natural, you're going to gain body fat in a surplus, just a little bit. But if you bulk for a long time, you'll gain a noticeable amount. It's just the rule, it's the buy-in. It's like investing in the stock market. That money hurts a little bit going out, but it'll serve you better later. It's like investing in your body. So tips to gain healthful weight and dirty bulking are the same question. Your calorie surplus needs to be modest. 200 to 400 calories at most per week, maybe 500 if you're real thin and real lean. But you want to aim for like the same way you want to lose weight, 1 pound a week. You want to go for like half to 1 pound a month in weight gain. And so keeping your calorie surplus modest and not just doing a dreamer's bulk and doing 1,000 calories above maintenance is how you do that. And then on top of that, of course, eat enough protein, eat predominantly whole foods, but don't be afraid to throw in a little ice cream or a little fucking whole milk or something that's peanut butter. It's calorie dense, because a lot of you skinny guys just don't have the appetite to eat 3,000 calories a day. You think you're eating a lot. You're not. You're eating 2,000, 2,500 tops every time. I know it. And if you are eating a lot, you're not gaining weight, 3,000, 4,000, you're just super active. You need to find a way to taper that back. So eat whole foods always. That's home base. Eat enough protein, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound. Protein's less important in a calorie surplus because you've got energy around you. And chase strength in the gym. If you're getting stronger every week, you're in a 400 calorie surplus, you're going to get bigger. I promise. It is that simple. But you've got to treat your eating as seriously as you treat your training. I see a lot of people out here that train like beasts and then eat like fucking idiots. They forget meals. They skip meals. They are the same. They are one and the same. You cannot have one without the other. So treat your training and your eating the same way. Madison Engel. This question we're going to close on. Where is the line between eating healthy and an eating disorder? I like this question. Awareness. I believe awareness and time consumption are the things that differentiate the two. When I was in my full-blown disordered eating panel or pattern, tracking and food thoughts were consuming my life. Every time I went out, I had anxiety about it, and I would end up going off the rails. I was tracking everything. I was weighing everything. It was consuming me. I was constantly worried about food. I was constantly plagued with guilt after I would eat something that was off plan, and then it would lead to a binge that spiraled me out of control. That sucked. That was a dark time. And it wasn't until I did a couple of things that I was healed from that per se. Number one, I stopped putting so much attention and power to food with my thought and my words. I don't call it a relationship with food. I call it a perspective on food. I don't have a relationship with food. I have a relationship with people. Food is an inanimate object. You are a sentient being. Don't let a fucking pint of ice cream dictate your emotional state. So that's one thing. Awareness around the fact that it's just food. Time consumption around the fact that I don't need to be tracking everything. Now, there's a season where you should be tracking. You need to understand what portions look like. You need to understand what 5 ounces of chicken looks like, 8 ounces of steak, 500 grams of potatoes, whatever. You need that awareness. You need to crack the food scale, open up MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, and track for a couple of months, not for years. If you can ride that line, fine. But if you start feeling yourself getting guilty or planning meals about like, how am I going to eat out, or skipping time out with your friends, that is an eating disorder, because you are letting food run your life and not running your life through what you want. Like, fitness should only ever add value to your life. My life is infinitely better when I'm in the best shape I can possibly be in. It is not worse. I'm still going out. I'm still having alcohol. I'm still eating out with my friends multiple nights a week. I'm eating what I want. So the line between eating disorder and enjoying your life, and this wave of people who are fucking chubby and mid looking and want to say that people who track are disorder, people with abs year round are disorder. No, you're projecting. Fuck you. Sorry, that was abrasive. That's just bullshit. Like, you can track calories, be lean, track your food, go through seasons of tracking and being a little more lenient, and not have a fucking eating disorder. Like, you can care about how much and what you eat and not have a fucking eating disorder. And so for me, the line was like, I'm going to step away from being so hyper aware of what I'm putting in my body and hyper aware of how much, and eat in a way that makes me feel good. And when I did that, when I just said I'm going to eat in a way that makes me feel good and focus on protein for a little while, I became generally aware of my caloric intake, just because once you track, it's always in your head. It's like a little calculator, and it's helpful. It's a tool. It's a superpower even. And I stopped worrying so much. I stopped being so hungry all the time because I wasn't so food focused. So for me, it's about awareness and eating in a way that makes me feel good versus eating in a way that is strictly for a goal, because then I become hyperfixated on the goal, which leads to me hyperfixating on the food. So I hope that helps, Madison. And that's been the episode, guys. We'll finish with a step check. It's 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm at 11,248 steps. So drop your step check in the comments. I appreciate your patience. If you're interested in working with me or being a part of my coaching community, I will put the link in the episode description below. It's also available on my Instagram. Excuse me, my Instagram and my TikTok bios. You can join the waitlist. Coaching opens April 22nd. Why am I burping? I haven't eaten. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Take it easy.